Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to do that ammo test for those rounds I loaded up out of 45 Colt Ruger only. We're going to be conducting the test with a 5.5 inch Ruger Blackhawk. These are the rounds I loaded up. I loaded some with accurate number 7, different charges, and I loaded some with Winchester 296 with different charges. With accurate number 7, I'm using Remington 2.5 large pistol primers, and I'm using Winchester large pistol for the 296 because they cover the slow burning magnum powders. I'll be testing the velocities with my Athlon Rangecraft chronograph, and as you can see out there at 25 yards, I've got some paper plate targets. I'm gonna try to get some groups for us today. Also, I don't know if you can see it, I painted the front side post pretty bright green so I can see it a lot better. These first rounds are going to be with the published max of the accurate number 7, the 15.2 grains of accurate number 7. I'm using 250 grain jacketed hollow point Noslers. I've adjusted my sight after shooting these last time. I was hitting low left, so hopefully the adjustments that I made will put it on target. If not, I might have to adjust it again or not even worry about the groups, but here we go. And we'll go over all the ballistics and the data at the end of the video. Okay, that last group I was hitting high to the left, so I adjusted the sights. So hopefully I'll be able to get a group on a plate. I only got one impact on that plate, but they were pretty close together, so that's promising. Let's get this next group. This next group is 15.5 grains of accurate number 7. All right, here we go. All right, now we're going to be trying the Winchester 296 loads with 24.3 grains of 296. I put a real good crimp on these, so let's see if we have a little bit better results than last time. All right, here we go. I'm gonna aim at the bottom, the very bottom of the plate. Okay, so I'm still hitting high. All right, I made one more adjustment to my sight. Oh, hopefully it's where it needs to be. This is 24.5 grains of 296. Okay, this next one is going to be 24.7 grains of 296. This one's 24.9 grains of 296. This is 25 grains of 296, the Nosler's published max. Let's go down there and check those groups out. Okay, so the 15.2 grains of accurate number 7 is the only good group, well, decent group I had out of the bunch. My first impact was here, then I impacted here, 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 and here. The rest, you can't even really see the group. They're just scattered all over the place. So, I actually like that loading, but for the rest, it's back to the drawing board. Okay, all in all, today, Didn't turn out exactly the way I wanted it to, but when does it ever, you know? But there are some good things that came out with this test. The last time I tested this 15.2 grain charge of accurate number 7, I was using the Winchester large primers also, and my average velocity for that 5-shot group was 1,015.6 feet per second, and the standard deviation for that group was 27.44 feet per second with that Winchester large primer. So I had the same charge, same bullet today, same overall length. The only difference was I switched to the Remington 2.5 primer, and let's check out the numbers on that group. Okay, that 15.2 grain accurate number 7 charge with the Remington primers, I did lose a little bit of velocity. The average feet per second for that was 991 feet per second, but it brought the standard deviation all the way down to 9.8 feet per second. So that's pretty good on that, and that's the only one that I had a semi-decent group out of. That was the one I showed you in the picture. It was if it wasn't for that one flyer, it would have been 2 inches at 25 yards. That other flyer made it 4 inches. I mean, that's not outstanding, but out of today, it was by far the best. And that's partly, well, probably a lot me, because I'm just not really used to shooting this gun. And well, I'm not gonna make excuses. That is me. Even though we're only almost 1,000 feet per second average with that group, we're still 545 foot-pounds energy, so that's still a pretty hard hitter. So that 15.5 grain charge of the accurate number 7, it didn't do so well. My average feet per second was 1019. The standard deviation was 19.4, and it didn't seem like the accuracy was as good as the 15.2 grain charge. I might just leave that 15.2 grain charge with the accurate number 7 for a good mid-range, a solid tier 2, as they would say, loading. I don't know what's going on with this Winchester 296. I made sure to get a real good crimp on it. Like I said in my video where I was doing the breakdown of it, I crimped it, I rotated him 90, and I crimped it again. This test, as you can see, I still got a pretty good amount of soot, and some primer flattening. This was the 24.3 grains of the 296, but the number and the accuracy just wasn't there. The average velocity for 24.3 grains of 296 out of this 5.5 inch Blackhawk is still only 1,020 feet per second, and my standard deviation was 50 feet per second. I'm sure the extreme spread was pretty good. Yeah, the extreme spread was 134 feet per second. I just don't know what's up with that. I don't know if these Winchester primers say they're good for standard Magnum loads. Maybe it's just not a hot enough primer. Maybe I need to move up to those CCIs. If you guys have any experience with this, drop it in the comments and let me know, because I'd like to have a good potent 45 Colt loading, but I thought 296 was going to get me there, but so far it's just not working out for me. Okay, and last time, that same loading, let's check that out. When I didn't make sure that I had such a good crimp, with that same charge, loaded the same way, same bullet, my average velocity was 1,100 feet per second with a 16.7 feet per second standard deviation. So but that one still had a lot of soot on the cases. Okay, with that 24.5 grain charge with that 296, I'm an average 1,061 feet per second and still 35.6 feet per second standard deviation. Okay, and the strange thing about it is the best stuff I got on the 296, I loaded up a 24.7 grain charge, and I loaded up a 24.9 grain charge, and the average, and I'll tell you the shot record. Okay, so the 24.7 was actually 1,075 feet per second. The 24.9 was 1,059 feet per second. And both those together, the standard deviation with a 0.2 grain difference in charge was 8.2 grains. And all these charges, I'm hand scooping on a digital Lyman scale, so I'm not using a powder thrower. I mean, these are confirmed charges. So, and then I loaded 2 at the published max, and that was one of the worst groups too. I got better velocity. The shot record on those, the first one was 1,062 feet per second. The second one at the exact same charge was 1,164 feet per second. So 102 feet per second extreme spread. So that's just mind blowing to me. But those ones I loaded at max, they both had some primer flattening, which one of them's pretty flat, and one of them's still got some rounded corners on it. I would guess that this one here was my 1164, and that one was my 1062. But any experience you guys got with H110 or 296, hey, leave it in the comments, because this here is not what I'm looking for. But I do think, regardless, I am going to try. I think it's a CCI 350 primer. If you guys got any suggestions, drop them in the comments too. But thanks for watching. God bless. Jesus loves you. Have a good one.